Thank you all for checking out episode 52. It is out now with Dr. Mona Kiani. And that is a very important episode as it is much needed with considering what's going on in the world right now. It's a great perspective from the views of children. And please check that out. It's on my YouTube channel, Phumblepodcast. And of course, you can find me, PejTheManiac, on all my social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. All my comedy content are there. I'm very excited about today's guest, and I thank her for coming on short notice. I learned about her through another previous guest on this episode. If you guys go way back to episode 2, artist, songwriter, musician, and singer Phil Q. I saw on Phil's story that this amazing singer, vocalist, had a couple of performances, one at San Jose State University, that's on Phil's page, and also on her page. Kat is her name, and I'll introduce her properly in just a second. San Jose State University, it was for a Capwa benefit concert. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then the other concert was at the Chabot. And what city was that in?
It was in Castro Valley.
Castro Valley, yes. So I discovered her amazing singing abilities, and I figured I'd reach out to her and have her come on to talk about her music career and more. So about Kat, let me tell you. So Kat she's Miss Filipina International 2022 candidate. Pinaista Ate Ambassador, Phil Excellence Global Mentorship Pilot Program, Collaboration as San Francisco, Delano Manong's Park Committee, San Jose, Filipino American National Historical Society of Santa Clara Valley Chapter. She loves being involved in many diverse groups or organizations that align with her values, whether it's local or global, nonprofit community work, supporting small businesses, entrepreneurs, creators, artists, empowerments of people of color in any aspect, providing resources of personal and professional development, advocating for mental health, which is very important, or music related. She's very much passionate about all of that. She also loves learning, expanding her networks, communities, traveling, dogs, exploring food places, concerts, DJ sets, fashion, streetwear, books, and journaling. Without further ado, my guest is Kat. Thank you for getting on, Kat.
Thank you, Pej. It's so awesome to speak to you. And I know it was a long intro. I'm sorry. It was like a lot of things in there packed at once. But thank you so much for the introduction.
Of course. No, I didn't want to miss anything. And I wanted to put everything out there that you wanted shared. So, well, one thing I caught in there is dogs. You love dogs? I love dogs too. I have a French bulldog, and
Frenchies! I love Frenchies. They're so cute.
They're such clowns too, you know.
They are.
They're so funny. Do you have a dog yourself?
I do. I have a 9-month-old terrier poodle mix. His name is Graham, like Graham Cracker, and he's 5 pounds small.
5 pounds. Okay, so small dog, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. My Frenchie is a 30-pound shot put. Basically, he's he's small, and when you see him, but he's heavy. So
right. Ooh.
Yeah, and he has a big head. But
that's so cute.
But I love dogs. Yeah, and it's my first dog ever. Growing up, I didn't have pets. My parents were super anti-animals in the house, and it was a cultural thing. But anyway,
right.
When I got married, it was like my wife's side. She's always had pets, cats, mostly cats, and then we got our first dog. So yeah,
I love that.
Awesome. So how was your these concerts you guys had last week? Amazing work, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How do you know Phil, by the way? How did you guys
Yeah,
know each
so
other?
funny story is I met Phil about 2 years ago, so just pre-pandemic, and we met at the event called Vibe Check. So he was actually a performer there as well, and I just happened to join my friend Brian Dublin along, who was also a performer at both of our gigs.
Oh, great.
And at that time I was like, cool, like I'm gonna support Brian, and I didn't know, the other artists performing. And then Phil was actually one of those performers, and I was like, wow, this guy is so good. Like his music is and his songwriting is really catchy. And I was like, ooh, this guy is gonna go somewhere too. And I actually didn't formally introduce myself to Phil at that time, but after seeing like more videos of the event and stuff, we like followed each other on Instagram, and we kind of just met through there and kind of just talked, and eventually, wanted to work together on some music. So that's how we met. And it's really come full circle that we performed together at the Vibe Check 2.0 at the Chabot Theater, because that was actually the same organizer for the event that we met at. So it really came full circle that we ended up performing together.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's Phil is one of my good friends. I've known him now for a while. And a little sneak peek for people watching, Phil is going to be on again, second time around. He's going to join us on episode 55. So look out for that. So he has some exciting news to share with everybody as well. But now to you, how long have you been singing? When did you discover music? Is music in your family? How did you get into all that?
Yeah, I can definitely go over that. So, music, I've been singing since I was about 3. At least that's what my parents told me.
Yeah.
We would sing karaoke at the house all the time, and it does definitely run in my family. My dad, he sings, he plays guitar. So, growing up, I would listen to a lot of Beatles, a lot of Queen, classic rock. So I really love that, and exploring that genre of music. And then on my mom's side, my uncle and my aunties, they all are such really great singers. So I would learn a lot of Filipino songs from them. I'm Filipino, born and raised here, but I can also speak and sing in Tagalog as well. So that's really fun.
That's beautiful. I know that music is a big part of Filipino culture.
It is.
One of my best friends is actually Filipino, and his family is filled with musicians, his dad, and his dad has a band, and so on and so forth. But that's great that you have a deep-rooted love for music, and it's in your blood. And you mentioned Queen. That's actually my inspiration. Freddie Mercury was my inspiration to get into singing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love him. I love his work, and my only regret is that I wasn't around old enough to watch him live, so that's one thing. I guess I will never be able to say I did, but that's okay. Right. I will always love his work, his passion for music, and all of that. Did you write any original music or content?
I do. I actually wrote one original that is like independent. So all of my like my future single that I was going to release, but I kind of paused on that project for a little bit because I felt like I wanted to get review it some more and, make sure that, I'm really happy with it. I wrote that song a couple of years ago now, and it's been mixed, but I feel like there's a lot more that I can do with it. But besides that, I had a lot more experience, writing my own verses or hooks with a few of my other musician friends. So our single that I have, or my single that I have out right now on Spotify, it's called La La Land, and that was by me and Izzle. He's also a Filipino rapper. Mm-hmm. And, that one was really fun. He asked me to collaborate with him. Also, exactly a year ago in February, And we had a music video out for that too. It's on YouTube. So that was really fun. We actually did it in our producer's backyard. So it was really fun, very chill vibes.
Awesome. No, that's great. I'm definitely gonna plug those on here so people can check those out. It'll either be on the screen or in the description, one or the other. I'd love to hear that. And what about your passion? It looks like I did want to talk about this too. You said you're an advocate for mental health. What got you to be passionate about mental health in general?
Yeah, so, mental health, it's definitely been a long time coming, just in today's society, like a lot of years have come where mental health, even just, discussing it, it was just very much a stigma, like there was just always a negative connotation with mental health. And there was just a lot of missing information that people weren't aware about, and like just a lot of conceived notions with mental health. But as we can see with the pandemic, mental health has become a lot more prevalent in society, and it's so important to take care of yourself. Mental health is just as important as your physical health, because it's the mind. It controls a lot of how we act and what we do. So and I myself have struggled with a lot of anxiety, and especially within my culture, especially like being Asian, it's just been very much just frowned upon to talk about mental health. So I am really a strong advocate of making it providing more information to people about mental health, and providing resources, and just sharing my own experience with mental health, because I want people to be open to discuss everything about mental health, and really get help that they need, because it's really important to have those tools and support, which I really hope everybody can have access to, because nowadays it's still pretty hard to get access, even though a lot of people are suffering with mental health. So that's something that I really want to work to help fix.
Yeah, listen, I empathize with people that are in need of therapy, or are in need of, myself included. I see a therapist, and I'm not shy about it. I love sharing it. And I culturally, we're similar, I think, because in Persian culture, it's the same.
Right.
In old school, I think that entire part of the world is very. It looks at, and I think it's changing. It's starting to, especially because of the pandemic. I think people are forced to face this.
Definitely,
because it's caused a lot of depression. There's been a lot of issues with. I mean, I have family members, older family members, who unfortunately were in that country of Iran, where it's frowned upon, like you said, to talk about mental health. So they never had the resources to get the help they needed. And I think back to some stories, for my great grandparents or grandparents, and I'm like, man, and now as an adult, I'm like, that's what it was. It had to be a mental health issue,
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful, like, because the younger generations are starting to break those walls down, like yourself, other communities, and I'm hopeful that we're going to tackle the stigma behind and put that to the side, and hopefully with healthcare and all of that, it becomes more readily available. I think even in the States, it's been in the previous generations, it's a little more taboo as well. You have so I don't think it's just reserved for the continent of Asia or that part of the world. So do you have any goals that you can share about what you're planning to do in the field of mental health?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the time where I find events that are happening in the community, like in the Bay Area. I follow a lot of local organizations, and some specifically catered toward Filipinos or Asians. And I really try to, share those, on my social media, and then provide, links to workshops or even therapists that, are in the area. So, I definitely also want to hold like a benefit show, or even just raise money for some mental health related organizations that really help make a difference in the community. So I would really love to make it a big project later down the line when I have the proper resources. That would be something that I would love to provide.
That's great. I'm all for it, like I said, and best of luck with you with that, because we all can have more outlets to share our feelings. And then as a guy, I can only speak for myself, but I know a lot of my guy friends who share this, that I've talked about it previously on this show, but toxic masculinity, like that has become such an issue. And this the traditionalists, or I don't even want to say traditionalists, because it's not really I don't think anything is that black or white, right? Everything has a middle ground. There's a gray area with a lot of this, but generally speaking, a lot of the I guess we'll label them old school guys, you just got to tough it out. You just got to, you can't cry. Men don't cry, this, that. And
it's very toxic.
It's very toxic because it actually can ruin some people, right?
Definitely.
Some guys, and not just yourself. It can cause you to become a shell of yourself with other people. And then you're not able to put forth your best version. And I'm all about, I think a lot, sometimes to a fault. My wife will say, you're in your head again. My therapist also says, don't get in your head too much. And there is a balance there, because I think my goal is to, like, I always like to be better than I was yesterday, but that can turn toxic too, because you start to not appreciate what you have done. And so I have to always catch myself and be like, listen, no, I've, like with this podcast or with my online presence, like from the 2020, when I started all of this and started to put it into play, it was I've come a long way, and I sometimes I got to stop and just smell the roses, right? So
yeah, definitely. I agree that it's still a really big issue, especially with men, and it's not as popular for men to seek help. But I mean, regardless of what you identify as, taking care of your mental health is important. And I also fall a lot to imposter syndrome, which is what you mentioned. Just thinking that you can do better, or not, or that you're not deserving of the things that you're doing. So I do also have to stop and really tell myself that like, you've worked hard for this, so you definitely deserve all the things that are coming. And overthinking, that's something that I have struggled with a lot myself as well. So it's been a learning process, and we all learn in different we all process it at different levels. And as long as we practice it and we really try, that's what matters.
Yeah. Do you think that, because I want your opinion on this, what do you like? I'm sure you've seen kids here and there, or children, and do you ever stop and think they're not struggling in this area? They're just simplifying everything to its most pure form. And sometimes I feel like I forget that as an adult.
Yeah, definitely.
We allow
like children.
yeah, children. Just think what, like,
their pure innocence, like they're able to do things without, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but when I do think of all the times where I'm like, taking things for granted, or like I just like to think about, what would my younger self think? Or
Yeah,
what would
yeah,
my
yeah.
younger self do? Like they would say, that I've come so far. So I kind of just have to put myself back in that perspective when that happens. But yes, children, they're great. They always remind us of, to enjoy the simple things in life. And, you know, um, every day is a new day. So we just have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think as adults, especially given the current, it's no secret what's happening in the world right now in Ukraine and Russia. And not to get too
Right.
political, but
Mhm.
the point isn't to be political. Actually, the point is to be
Right.
seeing that and then thinking, like, I teach, so I work with kids, and
Mhm.
I see them just being confused by what's
Right.
happening, and they don't even like they most of them, I could say most of them are like, they're not even able to fathom, like,
Mm.
why are adults doing this, right?
Right.
And it's like, when you don't even understand the concept of divide and
Mhm.
war and hate and all that, like, that's your most inner child
Right.
telling you. So I believe that we got to listen to our inner child, because
Mhm.
our inner child is actually telling us, like, it shouldn't be this complicated. Like,
Right.
there's no reason, all the reasons that you have to hate on someone, or even when you zoom out and think country to country,
Mhm.
like, all of that has been taught, or kind of
Right.
through I'll call them evil empires, but through
Mhm.
those empires, there it's a feeding system to get us to start siding with one or another, or
Right.
or try
Right.
to get us to think, oh, this cannot be that, so therefore that is wrong. Like,
Mhm.
it all of that, we have to stop ourselves and think, listen, when I was a kid, I love this and I love that.
Right.
I had no reason to hate my neighbor. I had no reason to hate that country. I had no reason to think negatively about any of this, because I just
Right.
wanted to play. I just wanted, you know what I mean? Like, it was
Yeah.
so pure.
Mhm.
Um, so and growing up as a minority, both of
Mhm.
us. But I want to know your experience growing up as a
Mhm.
minority. Uh, how did you? Well, now, growing up in the Bay Area, the Asian
Mhm.
community is really large over there. I know.
Right. Mhm.
But did you ever feel like, uh, did you ever have any negative experiences with bullying, or feeling like
Yeah,
you were
definitely.
outcasted, or?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think it's pretty common, like, during lunchtime, I would always have like certain snacks or food, and then I would have people, ask me like, what are you eating? Like, why does it smell weird? Or,
Oh
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's something I definitely experienced when I was in elementary school, even like middle school, and I would just tell them like, "Oh, this is a Filipino food. It's really good. You should try it."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love some Filipino food. My favorite food is lumpia in the Philippines.
Yeah, I love lumpia too.
I know it's such a. I know it's more of like it's a quicker cook, but it's I don't know. I really like it. Um, it's funny you mentioned that, because I had a when I was like, I wasn't born here, so I
Mhm.
came here from Iran when I was 8 years old,
Oh, wow.
and so it was I was entering third grade, like the
Mhm.
latter part of third grade. But in fourth grade, there was one of the weeks was bring food from home week,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and everybody, I grew up in Maryland, but it was like the the Caucasian community was much larger there, and
Mhm.
African American community as well.
Mhm.
Persian community was pretty big, but in my school, at least in my classroom, uh, I was one of maybe two Middle Easterners there.
Mhm.
So I'm rolling in with like a petri dish of like kebab, and
Oh
like,
my gosh.
and the smell, I'm not even gonna lie, the smell was strong. And it was
Right.
like, but like, same thing, the kids were like,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, that smells so, like, it smelled good,
Right.
but like at the same time it's strong.
Very strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Middle Eastern spices are very strong. But anyway,
Yeah.
I just remembered that as you were mentioning.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's but this is what in my opinion, America, it was put together initially with the intent that it's a melting pot, right? That's what it's on. And so it can be, that system can just be expanded to the world. And I'm not saying America is perfect. There's a lot of issues in America. I'm not being naive. I understand that, you know, there's a lot of racial issues here. But I think we've, again, going back to our inner childhood, I feel like it's a great way to cut the fat off of the conversations and just think about what's really there. We're all humans. Oh, okay. If we're all humans, then what are we hating on? You're a human. I'm a human. I don't have any privileges over you. I don't matter more than you, and vice versa. So let's figure this out together. And
like we're all just trying to survive. We all want the same things. We want to, you know, be loved. We want to, you know, experience joy, like regardless of where we come from or what we look like or what we do. Like, you know, everybody should deserve the same, you know, experiences and access to things in life.
Yeah. And that starts with us individually, with our neighbors, and then keep expanding it. And if it's the same mindset, is I'm no better than the neighbor or anybody else, and don't let propaganda and media try to, you know, I mean, I'm hopeful that's changing, honestly, because of social media. I think people are starting to talk. And as a result of that, I'm actually more hopeful that this thing that's happening right now in Russia and Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, I don't think it's going to have the legs it needs like it did in World War II to go as far as it wants to go, right? From the standpoint of one side being, you know, what Putin's agenda is and all that. But anyway, my point is, even Putin was born innocent, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Is that a controversial statement? No, he was born innocent. I don't think and this idea of the evil gene that people talk about, I think that in my opinion, and you guys can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear all types of opinions. This is a conversation that needs to be had, and that is, I don't think an evil gene really exists. I think evil is taught. I think wrong is taught. Sin is always a choice at the end of the day. And I'm not saying there's no excuses for it. I'm not going there. I'm just saying that it's sometimes we don't know we're making the wrong choice, right? Like, I'm not, you know, people as evil as one side of the world thinks one person is, one leader is, another side can be glorifying them, right? So what we're seeing right now with our naked eyes, obviously from the West, it's completely right now saying Putin is doing everything wrong. He's the one that's wrong. And I agree with that. He's the one who's initiated this. But you're going to find people who are saying no. I mean, there's countries that are siding with him, with Russia right now. So again, I don't want to, at the risk of getting too political, I'm not a political person. I actually don't like politics. But it's, I'm just trying to say that it's simple. This whole thing can be simplified to its core. And what is everybody? Everybody's human. Let's just remember that. Anyway, I'll stop talking my before I get myself in too much trouble. But it's I want to circle back to your music and mental health and just your experience growing up in America. What influences you with your lyrics, with your music? Do you have one influence, or does it come from all areas?
Yes. So with my music, I feel like I draw a lot of influences from, you know, a lot of different things, whether it's my experiences, you know, growing up here in the Bay Area, relationships, you know, the artists that I listen to, I very much influenced by a lot of, you know, old school R&B, you know, hip hop, pop. But, you know, I listen to every genre.
Yeah, that's good.
But primarily, you know, I love Aaliyah, I love Snow Allegra, Alicia Keys, Stevie Wonder, you know, Amy Winehouse, a lot of neo soul. It's, you know, my favorite genre to listen to.
That's great. Bunch of goats you just mentioned there. Yeah,
right.
Amazing artists. Yeah. Aaliyah and Amy Winehouse, rest in peace to both of them. My wife loved it. Amy Winehouse, and I did too. I think some artists, they're so raw, they're not meant to be in the business, and I feel like sometimes the business eats them up. Unfortunately, I think that happened with Amy Winehouse. And she was part of the 27 Club too. I don't know, that was that's another downer, but anyway, those are great influences, and I miss old R&B. We need to bring that back. Maybe you can bring that back.
I hope so. That's what I'm planning on doing with my original, so I love it. Could contribute to that.
Any new projects, singles you're working on, or album maybe?
Hopefully, I'm still working on my own original music, so hopefully I can have enough for an EP, very soon. But definitely have a lot of collaborations in the works, especially, after those 2 performances. I met a lot of really amazing artists. For example, Casey. Phil has also, worked with Casey or has met him before. So he's a really great artist, and, we're going to be working on some music together. And I really look forward to putting out some new singles and projects with other artists as well. But definitely do want to focus on my own a lot more this year than I have in the past. So I'm praying that, it all comes together.
Wonderful. It all starts with that passion, and you have that, and the rest will work itself out. Go ahead and plug away your social media. Where can people follow you to hear more of your music, to hear or just follow you in general with all of the things you're involved in?
Yeah, of course. So my handle for social media is Whoa Kathleen. That's WHOAKATHLEEN, and that's on Instagram, on Twitter, and Twitch. And I have a YouTube as well. I don't believe I have the access to customize my URL, so it's probably really long. Okay. But when I find it, I will definitely send it over to you. And then on Spotify, you can find La La Land by Izzle. That's IZZLE, and Kat. And it's on Spotify and Apple Music.
Wonderful. Was that inspired by the movie, or?
Oh, no. It's just the name of the song. It's completely separate. But yeah, it's a very chill R&B track.
All right. I love it. I will check those out, as will the listeners and watchers of this episode. Kat, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. You guys know where to find her now, and you know where to find me, PejTheManiac. On all my social media handles, they're all up here, and YouTube channel to watch this episode as well, and Spotify with video availability. This has been episode 53. I'm Pej. This was Kat, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Of course.
Just a little, I'm a gentleman, but fuck being gentle, we gon' get this shit poppin'. Take it all off of me, ain't no stopping. Love how you ride the beat, it's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe. 97 Biggie hypnotized, rather die ever since you stayed the night. Ain't nothing left when I hit it right, that's right. La, 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 la. couch. Close the blinds, you gon' see what I'm about. So high cause of how we get down. In my arms, but your head up in the clouds.
Yeah, tell me what you like, then wait. That body is my target and I aim to please. That's my boy. So do your own mental, your virgin a man, but
fuck being gentle, we gon' get this shit rockin'. Work it all out for me. Both exhausted, loving you right to sleep. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe. No rules, baby, improvise. Summer heat in the sheets every night.
cool you down, kiss your spine with them eyes.